It's time for an Upcycle episode 5 of my sustainable design series, where I show y'all how to rework and reuse what you have, all while shopping secondhand to create beautiful spaces. And today it is all about a sustainable dinner party. I want to have this dinner party outside, so I'm going to take that beautiful patio that I did in a previous episode and we're just going to pull it all apart. We're going to move the furniture over by the pool and we're going to use some different tables underneath that covered patio so we can protect ourselves from the rain. I'm having a rather large dinner party. I chose to have it outside so I'd have more space, so I need to get the entire space blown off and power washed. I'm going to come through and collect all of the vintage glass, plates, dishes that I have in my house and give it all a good cleaning. I do not need anything to match at all. I'm just going to use everything that I have and use a bunch of pretty different colors. Once it's all clean, I just set it all over my counters or my tables. I do this 2 or 3 days before the dinner party, so it's all ready to go. Some glass crafts that people can refill their water with. I borrowed some chafing dishes from a friend of mine so I can keep the food hot. I'm also going to use a ton of these little vintage glass pieces that are for desserts for our little appetizers. I pick up a few more things for decor, so of course I hit Goodwill. I had some really realistic florals that day, which is pretty cool, so I scored some of those. I also scored another chiller and some more vintage glass, which will help me just decorate on a budget. Also scored a few stacks of plates to help me finish out everything that I needed for each guest. Give a gift when I'm doing a dinner party, so thrifted flannels and some thrifted and vintage tees, cut them out. Then I take a little bit of Wonder Under, iron it onto the back of each piece, then cut the edges perfectly so it's a nice square. Then I flip it over again. I reheat it a little bit, then I peel that backing off and the iron-on is on the back of the t-shirt. Then I place that t-shirt on the back of whatever plaid or flannel button down. It's ironed right on using a little bit of parchment paper to protect the logo, and then I come through with my sewing machine, but you could hand stitch it if you want, and I just do a straight stitch or a zigzag stitch around those edges to hold it in place. It really is such a fun little custom gift, and if you're just having a 4 to 6 person dinner party or something like that, it's even easier to do. It takes about 10 minutes per shirt. Time to fold some napkins. You can use any kind of fabric to make napkins and just create a little hem along the edge. These are actually 16 by 16, but you could do 18 by 18. There's a few different sizes that you can make your napkins. And this is how I like to fold them. And then you can either place them directly on the plate like this, or you can set them to the side. Next up, some stationery I already had. I used the envelopes to create the little name tag so everybody's got a little place card. Then I took some thrifted frames and I printed out some labels at home. A little creative way to help separate all of your little areas that you have in your dinner party setup. Up these little battery operated cork lights. You can get a big box of them with the extra batteries. These are so great to put in vintage glass, kind of glass that you thrift, especially if you want to have a party outside. Nothing blows out. It's amazing. Now, when I'm setting everything up, I always leave the corks hanging out the top, and then as the dinner party starts, I will turn them on and place them inside, but that way I'm not digging down to find them. And these are actually just old lamps that I cut the cords off of and put lights in. And then I kind of just set everything out off to the side so it's ready to go the next day. I always prep everything a day or two in advance. Plates, napkins, everything's folded, cleaned, set to the side. And then of course I like to do some florals. You can use some faux florals that you thrift. I like to use a little bit of eucalyptus outside and then mix in just a few florals so it's not too expensive. The eucalyptus helps keep the bugs away on the table. And then of course all of these secondhand vases. And then don't forget to put a little bit of water in the bottom of your candle holders so when your candles melt down you can pop them out easy. Of course, all of the drinks I chill a few days before, and the day before I always make sure all the food is prepped. 3 days before I picked up my tables and chairs from Whim Party so I could set them up. My amazing friend Diana was in town from Los Angeles, and of course we were, screwing around, but we were also working hard to set things up. And Lennon were, of course, there to help out as well. Covered the tables with a ton of different thrifted king-size sheets, and then, of course, mist them at the very end with a little bit of water to get all the wrinkles out. Pulled down all those lanterns that I had originally put over the coffee table on my first episode of my sustainable design series, but this time I'm just changing the hooks around and we're gonna line them all the way down the table. And of course, my friend Diana rolled up all the shirts perfectly so that display the logo and they're good to go for the guests. Now that I've got all my upcycles done and I'm ready to style the space, I have a couple of questions about host gift etiquette and what we should wear to a dinner party. And I have 2 influencer friends that are going to answer those questions for you.
Hello, I'm Mariah. I'm the founder of Old Soul Etiquette, and here's everything you need to know about host gift etiquette. Number 1, first and foremost, don't show up to someone's home empty-handed. Number 2, avoid bringing flowers, alcohol, or a dish you haven't been previously asked to bring, as they create more work for your host. Now, if you do want to bring one of these things because you know your host already loves it, be sure that the flowers are prepped and in a vase ready to go. Be sure that the alcohol that you bring is in a gift bag so it's obvious that they can enjoy it at a later time. And if you choose to bring food, make sure that it's something that can be enjoyed the next day so that they don't feel obligated to serve it at the event. Number 3 are my go-to host gifts. I love to bring cocktail napkins, something from the local farmer's market like honey, or stationery. Number 4, as a host, you do not need to feel obligated to open a host gift in front of the guest. And finally, for number 5, because a host gift acts as a thank you, you technically do not need to write a thank you note for it, but if it's a gift that's extra special or thoughtful, you absolutely can.
The first thing I love to do when putting together an outfit for a dinner party is to start with jewelry. So tonight I have this beautiful topaz vintage piece, and then also these really lovely earrings. And then I have this beautiful brooch that I added into the center of this dress just to give it a little bit more flair. One of my favorite tips for dressing for a dinner party is a shawl. So you can get them in any color, any pattern, any fabric. This one's super light, so it's perfect for the hot Texas summer, but it's really nice to have over your shoulders just if it does end up getting a little bit chilly, you want to have something on you. Well, my favorite thing to wear and bring it to a dinner party, it's a great conversation starter, is a vintage beaded bag. So I'll see you soon.
The inspo, Jillian. We'll see you soon. Best part, it's time to put all that vintage glass on the table. I love these big drink holders. They're the little pour spout drink holders. I just took the spouts off and put colored lights in them. All of the florals, all of the thrifted plates, just kind of staggering them. Our little nameplate card, our shirt gift above it, and then of course the napkin on the left with the fork on the left, the knife facing in on the right, and the spoon on the far right, and the water glass on the upper right side. That is how I would do a place setting for the amount of silverware that I am using and the water glass. And then of course the crafts will put full on the table with lemon water, so we're not using any plastic water bottles. Curated a bunch of little spots in the house, a little bar, nothing matched, none of the glasses matched. Anyone could pick any type of vintage glass they want. All of those amazing appetizers on the big dining room table. And then outside by the pool, all of the beautiful vintage glass and everybody's little sweet gifts. Also, I always do trivia during a dinner party. Side of the dinner table against the other. That way you can have a little fun and get people interacting with one another. I always do like to assign seats as well. And then I get a big basket full of really fun thrifted or vintage items to give as prizes for whoever wins trivia. Just make little different sitting areas outside. I did some tiki torches with some mosquito citronella so no one would get bit by any bugs. Brought some really pretty art that I had inside, outside, and leaned it against tables. Of course, some string lights, and always make sure you have a really great curated selection of music ready to go to play all night long. Did a big Mexican meal, which is really inexpensive. Rice, beans, some meat, tacos. Very, very reasonable. Very simple, along with some guacamole appetizers. Super easy to prep and keep warm. And then, of course, just a little dessert stand as well with some cupcakes and macaroons. It was so fun watching everyone open their shirts. They were very excited, so I definitely enjoyed that. And again, this is a very big dinner party, but it's a really simple, easy way to do something fun for your guests, especially if you're having a smaller dinner party, maybe, 6 to 10 people. Girls looked so cute in their shirts. We got a really fun picture, and sun went down. All those beautiful pieces of glass started to glow, and it just makes me so happy because it really is a great way to not have to worry about candles blowing out outside, even though I did do a few votives as well. It's a great reminder, not everything has to match. None of my plates matched, none of my glasses matched. Everything was just put together, curated, and it all was like eclectic and fun. You can definitely do a party like this on such a great budget. Prize basket was secondhand. I had some vintage jewelry in there, some vintage silk scarves, some of my mom's artwork that I framed in thrifted frames, and everybody loved it. Beautiful evening, very inspiring, with a fabulous group of women. The grand total for the evening, of course not including alcohol, was $457. Remember to shop secondhand and be creative. Not everything has to match. Things can have different uses, and remember to borrow things from people. And remember, sheets make the best tablecloths. Light up that vintage glass. Happy upcycling.